Hey, Travis.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Portable Trevor here, and today we have a really cool guest that I've been looking forward to. We just had a death match in my backyard. I think I won, not too sure, but please welcome James DeAngelis. What's up, man?
Hey, Travis. It's great to be here, man. Thank you for having me. And just let me clarify, we did not have a fight because of social distancing and quarantine. I sent him a message that was just it hit him so hard that he was physically affected by it. And so I unleashed my word horde. And if anybody read Beowulf in high school, then you know what that is.
Yeah, I told him to show up to my backyard, and then I just felt this presence inside of me after somebody just told me something shocking, and I was just like, I don't want this anymore.
Exactly. That's exactly what happened. It was almost as if a ghost had passed through him. It was a feeling like that. Chills.
Exactly. In Space Jam, whenever the aliens go through like Charles Barkley, that's exactly what happened.
And he was animated for an instant. He was animated in like the style of Looney Tunes for an instant, and then he reset, and it was fine. And now here we are.
I would have loved to have been like a fly on the wall in that set whenever they directed Charles Barkley to do that, because he doesn't even like act that hard. He just kind of goes.
Yeah, like I feel like Charles Barkley's like, man, I'm not gonna pretend to act like I know that there's these cartoons are here. Like, I'm not gonna do that, man. What do you need me to do? Tell me exactly the movement you need me to do. He's like, okay, go like this, and he's just like, all right, did you get it? And then move on.
He's like, I'm only gonna do this once, so please get it.
Dude, I haven't seen Space Jam in so long.
We actually watched
Netflix, but I don't even care to watch it again, to be honest. It's like one of those movies I'm like, that might be nostalgic.
It's not a good movie.
Yeah, exactly. Like watching it now, I'll leave it as like the nostalgic thing that's in my head. I don't need to watch it again.
Absolutely. But James, thank you so much for being on the show, man. Like, this is really fun. Like, do what?
Are we wrapping?
Yeah, we're done.
Okay, right on.
All right, see you later. So James is from the show called Sugar Pine 7. Some of you may have heard of this, but he's also done a lot of other things that I'd love to get into. He's also a rapper, a musician, and just a really talented dude that I'd love to pick his brain with. So James, like, where did you start exactly? Like, I know you told me before we started that you went to film school, but what was that like for you?
What was film school like?
Yeah.
Film school was fun. I learned a lot, definitely had a lot of great experiences, worked on some really cool projects. I feel like it did give me a great foundation. But with working in the entertainment industry, like I'd say like 75% experience, because you'll learn things with experience like that you won't learn in school. No one can teach you things like certain types of things. But thankfully I did have some teachers who had real world experience, because a lot of times, like, no disrespect to college professors, but like sometimes professors don't have like a real world experience in the industry that they teach. You know what I mean? Like they kind of and became a teacher. I'm sorry, that's not meant to be disrespectful. It's truth sometimes. But
no,
I
agree.
A lot of teachers on both sides that were great. And but like I said to you before the stream, like getting through the general education, everything in college was just a fucking bore, man. Like I don't want, and especially now, like being an adult and understanding the world, like I don't want to pay so much fucking tuition to go to classes that I don't give a shit about. Can I curse? I don't give a fuck about. And are not going to be anything that I care about ever in my life. And it's a waste of time, and I'm paying for a waste of time. So fuck that. I wish that you could just go straight into your major, like with college. I think that's what needs to be done. Because why? Because of some bullshit system that you made, because like with this branch of classes that you needed to do to get these units to be able to go to these ones and blah, blah. And it's like, dude, can I pay you the money that's mine to study what I want to study? You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Like I majored in advertising a couple of years ago, and just towards the end of my senior year, I was like, I'm taking all these BS classes that I don't want to take. I just want to learn how to like shoot with a camera and do graphic design. That's what I was here to do. And now I'm like learning Spanish that I'm going to forget in like a year.
Yeah.
I don't remember any Spanish at all.
Yeah. I know, it's crazy. the like, because while you're going through the education system and while you're growing up, it's just normal to you. That's just the way it is. But then looking back, once you're an adult, you're like, man, there are so many better ways that this could be done more efficiently, more focused. Like, anyways, I don't need to learn math, man.
That's exactly how I felt. So you said like you had some good professors and bad professors. What do you think separated those for you?
Relationship relationships, because when you have a professor that cares about their students and they engage with them, joke with them, and relate to them and share things with them and stuff like that, it creates
Mm-hmm.
an environment where you're learning from somebody that you actually respect and look up to and connect with, rather than like, obviously you can't always do it if it's a class of 600 people in an auditorium. You can't do that the same way. But like when it comes to the more impersonal, like 20 to 30 people class like courses, those ones, like, because I had teachers that were more like meh, and ones that were very like engaging, and ones that I still think about today and like think back on things that I remember, that we learned and stuff like that. And I had one class that was a directing class, and my professor was Julian Hoxter, and he was this just wonderfully sarcastic British guy. And he just created such an awesome like environment for our class. We became like a crew almost, like the whole class of like, everyone had like this portion of Macbeth that we were gonna turn into like a sketch basically.
Mm-hmm.
And but you can adapt it in any way like possible, because he was the screenwriting teacher. He was like one of the main screenwriting teachers also, besides directing. And so, it was just like all the different ways that you can adapt that, man. I wrote mine to be like a mafia Macbeth, and we shot mine, and it was cool. Wasn't that good, but it was cool. It was very fun. Yeah. So shit like that, man. I think it's all about relationships and communicating, because if you can connect with somebody in a real way, it doesn't matter really about other things.
That's cool. Hey James, can you do me a favor? Can you turn up the gain on your mic just a tad? Because you're
Yeah.
really quiet.
Quiet. Really, really quiet.
Very,
Okay.
pretty quiet.
How's that?
Oh, it's better.
Better? Cool.
But yeah, that was my case whenever I was in college because like I would have classes where there'd be 100 people, and I may have talked to the professor like twice during the whole semester.
Yeah.
And then I would have classes where there would be 10 people, and those are some of my favorite professors that I'd still go back and visit today.
Yeah.
So
No doubt.
it was great, man. Did you have a favorite film that you made while you were in college?
Yeah. Let me think about it.
You want to come back to it?
No, there were a couple. One of them we made, and it was like a mockumentary style, like Office style, about this guy who was like running for class president in college, but like he had already been in college for like 7 years and shit. Like he was just like one of those people who like could never move on from high school and stuff. And it was just like mockumentary, like Office, about him running, and this other guy who was there visiting on like a school trip was also like fucking with him and pretending like he was running and shit. But just it turned out great, and it was like super clean and just funny and well written and well produced and everything, and it like turned out really well. That one, and also in my senior year, second semester, we were shooting projects on an RE SR2, which is like an old film camera, 16 millimeter film camera. And we shot 2 projects on it, and they were like amazing, dude. Like not amazing, but like they were so cool. They turned out, it was just really exciting to be able to actually shoot on film and like see how they turned out and everything. The second one to this day has not been digitally, what is it called when you turn film into digital? There's a word.
It's like
for
digital
it.
formatting or something.
It's like transcode. No, there's a word for it. Cinef something. It might.
I can't think of the name either.
Yeah, but hasn't done that.
I gotcha.
But I just gave it to a friend of mine from college actually, and he said he's going to do it 4 years later, baby.
Dude, that's sick.
Yeah.
Nice. So Were you worried about finding work after college, or did you like accumulate enough like relationships and connections that it was kind of easy for you?
No, I wasn't necessarily worried. I was excited. I was obviously like kind of worried and nervous, but I was more excited. And I also, like I said to you before we started, I have like blind optimism somehow, and or sometimes, and it just like takes over when it's something that I feel inside of myself, like I'm meant to do this. I want to work in the film industry. I want to be a director. I want to blah blah blah. Like I'll do that. I'll figure out a way to get to that point. It might take a while, and it might be like I might have to like be on YouTube for a while, but then like I'll get back on track.
Awesome. What was the very first thing you did after college, like career wise?
Career wise, I was just doing freelance PA stuff, like you do. That's how you start, man. That's how you start the
Hmm.
grind. If you want to do it that way, like that's one way you could work in the industries. You start as a PA and you work your way up, and it's just about saying yes to every single job that you're offered, being there on time, being there, being present, learning from everything that you can, and then you eventually through networking and getting more jobs, like will work your way up. And that's I respect that grind so much because I was ready to do that, but then I like I also said to you before stream, I'm not good at self motivating. So when
Hmm.
it's like when you're starting out doing freelance stuff like that, you have to be the one who's like, all right, I need to reach out to all these people, network with all these people, like get some things locked down. And I wasn't in a headspace to do that at the time, so I was like, maybe there's a job I can get. And so the first job, normally like normal job that I got was at ArcLight Cinemas in Hollywood, baby. Worked at the movie theater. And it's fun. It was fun for like a month and a half or something. And then I was like, no, I'll get stuck here forever.
Nice.
And then I got a job at Sourcefed.
Yeah, I was actually about to ask about that. So how did that come to be? Was that like you applying, or did somebody ask you and invite you? How did that work?
No, I just applied. I just applied on entertainment careers.
Nice. And do you remember that email? Was that like a really good day? You were like, oh my God, I got an interview with them.
Yeah, I was excited. It was like it all happened really fast. Actually, I applied. The next day, I got a call. The next day, for an interview. The next day, and then had the interview. And then the next day, they called me and told me that I got the job. But it was just for
Nice.
like an in-house PA, like studio tech.
And
Just
did you ever
do
get
whatever.
promoted to like editor or anything?
No, 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 no.
No.
No, I was a PA, man. That was my claim to fame. And then I met Steve and we became friends. And once SourceFed was destroyed, um, we started doing Sugar Pine.
Dude, that's so cool. And how did you and Steve become friends? Did you just figure out you guys had the same sense of humor, or what happened?
Pretty much. Because, like, obviously, you know me and you know Steve to an extent,
Hmm.
or at least like our humor. Yeah, man. It was just because, like, I thought most of the hosts, they were all funny, but some hosts were funnier than others, obviously. And, like, Steve, I thought was hilarious because like he had such a like brash and like irreverent sense of humor that I thought was like mine. And we just like would start fucking doing dumb shit, doing little bits together, like in between whatever work was going on. Like I remember I was setting up for the podcast and the SourceFed podcast, and me and Steve were just like sitting at the table, like pretending to do a podcast. And we were like, all right, we wanted to say thank you to, or no, it was like this. Yes, we wanted to say thank you to our sponsor, Wallbag. They have all different kinds of bags you can put on the wall. And we were just doing shit like that. And like the rest is history.
I feel like you guys' friendship is just constant bits. Is that true?
Oh, yeah, dude. If you ever just listen, because like sometimes me and Steve get into games together. And so we'll play like the same game together, but then like we won't. And we've been really pissed lately because we've been trying to find a game to play together because we're bored. But he started playing Sekiro, and so I started playing it again too. And then we just like play our own game, but we'll talk on and shit on Discord. And dude, man, nothing is said the entire conversation. It's just it's bullshit that we're making noises to each other. You know what I mean? It's just like nonsense.
I have a friendship like that with my buddy Zane. Like one time we hung out for like 3 hours. Like we went to go eat, and then we went back to my house, and then he left, and then I called him and I was like, There was absolutely nothing said. This was like the least beneficial hangout time I've ever had in my life, but it was a
Yeah.
blast.
No, it's great because you don't always have to have a point or have a, it's just, I think that's great when you have that connection with a friend where you're just like, yeah, we don't have to talk about shit, man. We can just fucking make each other laugh and say dumbass shit, you know? Like it's beautiful. But I hate Steve. For real.
You guys are actually huge enemies. You just work together.
Oh, me and Steve clash sometimes.
Do you guys get in arguments often?
Oh, no, not often.
That
He
often?
just will intentionally piss me off, and then I'm very open with my emotions, so I react. But
What
no,
does he do?
he's one of my best friends of all time. Oh, I don't know. It could be anything.
Just anything. And you became friends with Kib afterwards on Sourcefed. He wasn't on Sourcefed, right?
No, I met Kib. Actually, I love that story because it's so stupid.
Tell it, please.
Dude, the way I met Kib, it was just like the dumbest, but it's such like it rings true even today, like the way that we met. Because so I think this was right after, it might have been right at the end of Sourcefed. So like we were also working there, and Steve was having like just like a movie night with some friends over, and invited me and my girlfriend to go. And so we went, and Kib and his friend showed up late, and we were watching Alien, and everyone was stoned. Everyone was like really high. And we were watching Alien, and like half the people in there was the first time watching Alien, and everyone was really high. And so I was like, that's funny because people are going to be like freaking out and shit, or like really intensely into it. And so Kib came in and was like, and like we met and shit, and we both just like, we were across the room from each other, and we were both just like joking with each other about shit going on, like on screen, like something would happen, and they'd be like, and then he fucking sucks his dick and shit, like just the dumbest shit, like so stupid. And I know that everybody in the room was super annoyed with us, but everyone was high, so they wouldn't like say anything. And it's so funny because we were cracking up, man. We had a great time, and I'd already seen Aliens, so I didn't give a shit.
That's so. What's watching Alien High like?
Oh, it depends. It can be different. It's different for every person.
What was it like for you?
That's great. I love it. I love it.
Dude, that's so awesome. So you work at SourceFed and you develop this friendship with Steve, and then SourceFed ends. What was that experience like for you whenever it just ended?
I think I was the least affected, like emotionally, because at that point, like it was fun to me, but it was still just a job. Like I was fairly friends with everyone, but I didn't really become friends like with like Mike Falzone and Steve Zaragoza and all of them until Sugar Pine, because then I became worthy of their friendship. You know what I mean? Okay. You didn't laugh, so I was like, oh no, he took it seriously.
No, you kind of cut out. What did you say?
Oh, did it? Fuck.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I said I didn't really become friends with like Mike and Steve Zaragoza and all them until after Sourcefed ended and we did Sugar Pine, because then I became worthy of their friendship. Is what I was going to say. But no, so
I'm
like
not worthy.
at that point, it was like I was like, oh damn, I need to find another job, and that sucks because like this is a cool thing and everyone like cares about this a lot, but it wasn't like the end of the world for me. And obviously it worked out great for me in the end.
Nice. And so it ends, and I remember Steve, his very first one, it was like SourceFed has ended. Like that was like the first vlog of the alternative lifestyle. And when did you come in? Or was it the first episode?
I think I was in that episode. But that was just because Steve was like filming around the office. But the first one that he actually like hit me up to be a part of was the one where him and Kib went to his tax guy, and like he and I got the call where I got drafted. Of course, yeah. I think that was
such a good bit. Chase said you were on a ladder.
I was on a ladder. Yeah.
That was the first thing you did.
I was on a ladder. Yeah. I was on a ladder.
Totally.
Are we live right now?
Yeah, we are. We've been live the whole time, James.
Oh, thank God.
Everything. So, what is the process like for making an alternative lifestyle vlog? Because I remember watching those, and like I'm a filmmaker too, so I kind of get how things like that work and like spontaneity, and I can kind of read that through a lot of the episodes. But like a lot people were like stipulating for a long time, like, is this real? Like, what are they doing is real. So and Steve is it like explained it a couple times, I think, on a couple episodes. But what is the process like when you guys wake up and you start hanging out and Steve pulls out his like camera? Like, do you guys say, all right, we're gonna do a bit now, or does it just kind of happen?
Oh, well, right now the process is non-existent.
Well, when it was going on.
Yeah, so in the early days, it was pretty much that. It was Steve, expressed interest to both of us and like some of our other friends like Parker and Jeremy and all them, of just being like, hey guys, like I'm shooting, I want to do this thing. And so I'll be hitting you up and stuff if you want to do it. And I told Steve, I'll be your camera guy, like for the most part. If you can pay me, then I can do it for you. Otherwise, I have to get a job and I can't do it.
Yeah.
Because it'd be like that. And then he was like, yeah, I can. And so he would just hit us up and be like, I have this planner, like meet me here, like here, I'll pick you up or come pick us up and shit like that. We would just do it. We literally would just be like, go to a place and do something. And then Steve would turn it into a story. He would put it all together beautifully and hilariously. And
Yeah, his
those were
story
the best
structure was
times.
awesome.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And do you remember the hardest like you guys have ever just laughed at a bit that while you were filming?
Oh man, so many. A lot in the later. One of the things that always like, not always, but like it's one of the things that really like bothers me is that our later stuff didn't get the same exposure as the early stuff, because I think some of our later stuff, like in season 4, was so funny and just so like genuinely like great. Some of the shit that we make, but it was just already too late. It was our viewership was already like too low for it to not. And I know like a lot of people probably agree with that. Some people probably don't, but like I had a lot of fun making the later stuff. Um, for the most part. Obviously, there was just a different dynamic between all of us, and there were a lot of other factors that went into making content in the later days. But like, I really like I was watching some of that stuff recently just because I haven't watched a Sugar Pine 7 video in a long time. But I was like, man, this shit's actually like some of it's funny.
And do you, from your point of view, why do you think those episodes didn't do as well as the early ones?
Our viewership went down. We were making way too many videos. Um, I don't think I think that was our number one mistake, was putting out that many videos. But at the time, um, we
Were you guys doing it every day?
yeah, I mean, we were working full time and shooting like 6 videos a week and stuff. And like, I was just thinking the reason I stopped talking was because I was thinking about how detailed do I want to be with everything.
Yeah, it's
Um,
fine.
yeah. But no, I mean, it was just too much. I mean, we got way too burnt out creatively.
Mhm.
Hindsight's 2020, because when you're living in the moment and working that much, like you lose sight of shit so quickly, and just like you don't have. It's hard to have any sort of perspective on something like that. You know what I mean? When you're doing it every day and there's so much of it, we
Mhm.
needed to like we should have cut down and not be putting that much content out. Um, yeah, I don't
And
know.
you guys kind of you made a transition from like your old office to like the Rooster Teeth office. What was that transition like for you?
I was very excited about it the whole time, and so was everyone
Mhm.
else. I mean, we were optimistic about it and excited about it, and it just didn't work out. It wasn't the right fit.
Mhm.
Um, they gave us a lot of opportunity. They also didn't know what to do with us exactly. And that's a for sure fact. They kind of didn't really know what to do with us. Um, so there was only so far that support went as far as like development.
Mhm.
Obviously on the end of support, like financially, salaries, benefits, and all that stuff is great, and that's like blessings forever. And I'm always appreciative of that. And I have no hard feelings against Rooster Teeth whatsoever. Just didn't work out. Happens.
I gotcha. So you guys. So for the Rooster Teeth brand, do you think that was part of it, like the way Rooster Teeth is versus you guys? Do you think that just didn't mesh well together?
Not brand as far as like type of content, yes.
Mhm.
Not and somewhat of just like the personality styles and stuff, because like obviously off camera I got along with everyone I've ever met at Rooster Teeth, and I consider a lot of them to be great friends to this day. It was just like our type of content didn't really mesh with their type of content.
Mhm.
It was just like it just was different.
I remember watching that video. Sugar Pine 7 is over, and um, that the video like genuinely like that got to me because it was ridiculously sad. And I know that moment when Steve at the end of the video like supposedly tells you, is that actually when he told you, or was that like staged?
No, that's not what he told us. Mm-mm.
It's
No way.
not.
No. Way.
That's probably a dumb question. I'm sorry.
No, it's not a dumb question. And I didn't mean to laugh in like a condescending way. I was
No,
just
you're
laughing
good.
because I was imagining if that is when he told me and how
Yeah.
mad I would have been.
Oh, really?
That he would tell me that on camera.
Mhm.
In like a way to try to get a genuine reaction. No. No, we knew about it before for sure.
How did was Steve the one that told you?
We were told by our boss.
Oh gosh. That makes sense.
As you do, as you hear from. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. How did that conversation go? If you can talk about it.
As any conversation like that would go.
Yeah,
It wasn't,
I
I mean,
understand.
it just, it is what it is, you know?
Yeah, totally. And I'm sure that's not something you want to talk about a lot.
Yeah. It's not, you don't like to hear that ever.
Yeah, totally. And I'm sorry about that, man.
No. Don't worry about it.
But yeah, dude, like, so Sugar Pine 7, like, me and my buddy Chase, who's in the chat right now, like, we used
So
to like
Chase,
watch, and yeah, Chase he's a dope roommate. We
yeah,
kind of bonded
dope
over
roommate.
we bonded over Sugar Pine 7 a lot because we were so inspired by you guys because we were like, we want to do shit like this. It's so cool. And we've tried a couple times. Like, I mean, we weren't trying to rip you guys off, but there were so many times like I wanted to record and do something like a vlog and do narration. And did you guys ever have a lot of copycats while you're doing this?
Yeah, yes and no. I mean, not like a lot, like where it was like getting out of hand, but we definitely had. I don't give a shit if you are inspired by it and want to make something similar, as long as it's not like a ripoff, because
Hmm.
those are two very different things, and it's hard. You have to be smart to like use a style that you admire and like make it your own and stuff. You know, that's not an easy thing to do.
Hmm.
But there were obviously like with that IGN thing back in the day when that happened, like to this day, I'm like, yeah, the guy just like made a video that was way too similar. And then he like cracked under the barely little like us being like, why'd you do that? Or like
Hmm.
admit it. And he cracked under it. And it was like weird. It was so weird, that whole situation. Cause we were like, just admit that the video was like kind of similar. It's fine, dude. Then he just like he just like didn't say anything the entire time. It was weird. But no, not really. Not like to a point where it was an issue other than that.
Hmm. And you got to direct quite a few episodes. Like, I love the cinematic episodes that you guys would do. How did those come to be? Like the Water
Oh,
Warrior one, that one was
that was,
awesome.
dude, those were my favorite times because we were like, we were always a chaotic force. Like when it was just like, we had amazing support. Like me, Steve, and Kib, we're very like, we need support, or at least I don't know. It's weird. I'm trying to figure out a way to say what I'm trying to say, but I had so much fun doing all those cinematic things, and like the fact that we were all down to do that, and we all went hard and like kind of became a little bit of like a proper little production company for a while there, just making all those cinematic episodes, writing scripts, breaking down scripts, setting up all these shoots and stuff like that. Like that was amazing. And it just sucks that YouTube's not really the platform for like narrative content, you know, but we tried it, didn't work. I think that's partly one of the reasons why our audience went down, because that's not what they signed up for. But I had a blast doing it, and I don't regret that shit at all.
Yeah, dude, it was awesome. And I think that's something that set you guys apart. You guys experimented so much throughout the runtime of the show, and I seriously appreciate the hell out of that. Like, the woods was awesome. Like, you guys premiered a film. People came out to
Hell
watch
yeah.
it.
You're
How
welcome.
was that?
Welcome.
Thank you.
Dude, the woods was so much fun. The woods was amazing. That was like, I remember just when all that happened, and that's when we won the streaming too. When that shit was happening, dude, I was on fucking cloud 10. You
Dude, I
kidding me?
bet.
I was like, damn, who'd have thunk? Like I never thought about doing fucking YouTube and shit like that, and then we did it, and then it was great. And then like we made a short film and sold out a theater and won an award, and like all those things. I think they happen. All those things happen way too quickly. We should have spread those out to keep the longevity of everything going on. But that was incredible, incredible. That's one of my. Although there are many issues that I have with the woods, um, as far as like just things that could have been done better. The fact that we made it and like showed it in a theater, I'll never forget that. I love it.
Dude, that's so rad. What are some things that you would change now if you were to do it again?
A lot of the story, just a lot of the story. I would. It was very clunky.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
Well, I thought it was awesome.
Thank you, man. And it was. I had a lot of fun with it because it wasn't meant to be like the tightest written thing ever. You know, I mean, it's a pretty straightforward kind of horror that but there are definitely things that could have been cleaner about it.
Yeah,
but
that's how I feel about a lot of my old films.
The thing I respect the fuck out of the most about The Woods is our makeup team, man. They were unreal. They made that monster because
dude, that monster was so dope.
When we were, because like those prosthetics are really expensive, and so we had to order. We can only order like I think one of like the entire of each piece and stuff, and we were like the day of, I think it was the second day of shooting was when we were shooting with the monster first, and Alan, fuck, Alan,
can't remember his name.
Alan, he's a legend. He does like so much monster work, and like I think was King Ghidorah, like did motion capture stuff for King Ghidorah in the Godzilla movie.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's crazy. But he was there since like 4 a.m. doing the fucking all the prosthetics on, and like that's crazy. And we were like, shit, man, this is it. Like if this monster doesn't look like exactly right, it's gonna make or break the movie, you know? And it was just, thankfully, it was one of the most professional looking things about the movie, I think.
Yeah, it was awesome. And what was production like for that? Because I love hearing behind the scenes stories.
Oh, it was a fucking chaos, dude. It was like nobody slept. It was like basically 24 hours every day, and like maybe sleep for like a couple hours, but then you had to be up early and shit. And then it was just like and for some reason we only had 3 days to do it. We couldn't do it on the 4th day for some reason. I don't know if you know what I'm referring to or not.
I don't.
No, because I had a Chance the Rapper concert to go to.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I remember you wore that hat all the time in the show.
That I did. Mm-hmm.
And then you lost it or something?
I have no idea where or when I lost that hat.
Dude, it was iconic.
Yeah. It was.
And another film that you guys made was it was a season 1 finale that was it Arcasia? Is that how you say it?
Arcasia, yeah.
Arcasia. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was like a huge turning point, I feel like, for Sugar Pine, because I feel like nobody saw that before, like a vlog, and then it turned into this crazy cinematic adventure. So what was that like creative process like? I know I feel like that's almost all my questions so far.
Yeah, Steve was like, because at that point Steve was the driving force as far as the narrative went and all this the story that we were trying to tell. And Steve had the idea, like, because we had kind of like played around with the idea of like Parker liking Sammy Joe and stuff like that, and Kid being jealous, and like then Steve was like, you know, we could turn this into something, kind of make it go in an unexpected way. And I was like, dude, I'm all fucking for that. And I'm gonna be saying this a lot throughout this interview, but the rest is history, baby.
Heck yeah, man. And what impressed me most about that video was the acting. Like, I love whenever, like, my heart like sunk whenever when Kib looks at Parker and he's like, "Are you a good listener?" And then Parker's just like, "What do you
killed it. Kib fucking
he's so good."
Yeah,
and then you and Steve come in, and then you're just like, "Oh shit!" Like, Parker's dead.
That is how it happened. That is how it happened.
Like, Parker actually died, so you could get that reaction. And then the next episode, what do we do with the body? So, dude, that was such a crazy time. So, was that a conscious choice, like, for a long time to separate those into seasons rather than just like keep going like every episode?
Sometimes, you know, we made so much shit that like just figuring out where we're at and like being in the moment and being like, all right, how many videos have we made? You know, like
Hmm.
it wasn't always planned. Like we're gonna do this many videos and then stop. It was just kind of happen, and we would be like, all right, well, let's do this many more and then stop. You know, or
Hmm.
make a new season and shit. You can't make real seasons on YouTube because you can't take time off.
That's true. And you guys like started season 2 really quickly, also.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's awesome, man. And the other thing like I loved about Sugar Pine was the music videos.
Mm.
I was actually talking to this girl at the time named Cecilia,
Really?
and that music video came out right like after we were talking. And I did like I played the song and I like did the whole dance and I sent it to her just to be cute or whatever. And I was like, dude, this song is so dope. And
And did it work?
no,
No, it didn't. Oh man.
I mean the relationship just wasn't going to work anyway. But she thought the video was cute, just the relationship didn't work out.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, I'm sorry
all
about that,
good.
man.
No, it's all good. I think it's funny. But
That's,
so you guys also got Grace Helbig. Was that fun to have her on set?
yeah. Grace is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny because like for the longest time, I wasn't into YouTube. Like I didn't know any of these people and stuff. So I
Mm-hmm.
got to meet and like work with some people before I really knew who they were and like how like much experience they had and how like long they've been around and stuff like that. Like I didn't know. So for some people that I when I met and shot with them and stuff, I was just like, oh, they're obviously like a well-known YouTuber, but I didn't know, like But Grace is
Mm-hmm.
awesome, and that was really cool of her to be down to do that.
That is cool. And you do music on your own. You just released a song recently, didn't you?
You cut out there.
Oh, sorry.
You hear about my music?
Sorry. You do music as well on your own too, and you just released a song recently, right?
I did, yeah.
Nice. What's it called?
So my song is called "Go," and it's on every streaming platform you could ever want it on. Spotify, Apple Music, all that. I have a little music video for it on my YouTube. Just James DeAngelis. You'll find me. Yeah,
Nice.
I
Have you
love it.
always wanted to try rapping and just music in general,
Yeah.
or do you like filmmaking more?
Oh man, it's like I don't like to. I used to be very much like try to define myself. I used
Hmm.
to try to define myself, man, and like really be like that. And lately, though, like the past year, I've really been just so open to be like, just do what you want, man. Be genuine with it. Try really hard, and you'll probably find success with it. Like I don't know. I'm just a cocky asshole, I guess.
So how does that
Not
look
even
for
in a
you?
cocky way. I'm totally joking.
Absolutely. How does that look for you whenever you just try something new? Because I feel like that's just one of the scariest things in life is trying new things. Like I remember whenever I tried filmmaking for the first time, I thought I just had to be like the best whenever I tried anything, and then if I failed on my first attempt, then that was it. And that's just not how
Yeah.
life works, as
No.
I've figured out. But how does that look for you, man?
I mean, anytime you make something that you care about and you show it to people, you're gonna be concerned with how they respond to it. You're gonna want them to like it, obviously. And I want people to
Mm-hmm.
like my music. I'm not trying to be like a superstar. I want to just make the music that I like and that I want to make, and express the ideas and thoughts that I want to make. And I hope people enjoy it. I hope it resonates with them. I hope it inspires them or whatever. And it seems to be working. And I'm so appreciative because like it is a very personal thing, like music, and I'm so appreciative that people like it, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and that gives me fire to keep going.
What do you like to write about with your songs?
I'm a very in the moment kind of person. So I ride off my emotions and off my moods and stuff like that very heavily. Um, and so it's really just like if I'm sometimes I'll write lyrics, sometimes I'll work on the instrumental first and then try to write lyrics. But
Mm-hmm.
then it only works when it happens organically, I found. For me, I haven't gotten to the point where I can make myself use these skills that I have at a whim. I have to wait till it organically happens. And so my process probably is a lot different than other people.
Interesting. So, what's the difference between you writing like a song and writing like a film?
Everything.
Everything.
um yeah, I mean, as far as like the mood goes
Mm-hmm.
and style, I think having a style is very important. And not to say that you have to stick to that style or you have to like continue yourself to a style, but to be able to express yourself um in a recognizable way, I think is very important. In film, they call it auteurs, which are directors that you can recognize for their style, like Wes Anderson, Quentin Tarantino, people like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so having that is like the most important thing I think with anything creatively you want to do. And that's what I'm trying to do right now is like find my own style. And I completely forgot the question, like where we even fucking started with this, but I was vibing.
Yeah, go ahead. I was just asking like what's the difference between, writing a song and writing a film?
Right. That's the question. A
Yeah.
lot of things are different. So basically when you have a style, no, I'm just kidding.
Just start the whole thing over.
No,
Let's
I
just start the
mean,
whole interview over.
I'll be honest, that question's a little big.
Yeah,
Lot of differences.
yeah. What would you say is your advice? Because I feel like even you have a very distinct style with the way you do films. Like, what's your advice with just like standing out and trying to be truly yourself whenever there's millions of people that are imitators and just want to copy everyone? What would you say is your advice for people to just be different?
I think right now more than ever, like in 2020, I think people are craving originality more than anything. They don't want to. They're sick of seeing the same fucking thing, man.
Mhm.
Like think about artists that are coming out right now, and even like films, like how prominent A24 is right now. Like they're the best company out right now, and like it's because everything that they put out is different. Sure, it's kind of like if you could tell it has like the A24 aesthetic, and you're like, of course it's an A. But like there are movies that are from different filmmakers, newer filmmakers, younger filmmakers, more diverse filmmakers, women filmmakers. Like it's the next step. It's not the same studio shit that they're pumping out, Um, and same thing with music. Like you have artists now, and that's why like with producing, I wanted to teach myself how to produce because then I don't have to like try to network with people. And I like to put myself now in a position where like it's up to me. You know what I mean? Like I can make this, I can make music, make the instrumentals to it, and then I can also do the vocals to it, and I can put it out myself. It's so easy to distribute music. And it's like the less and less you have to rely on people, I think helps. But yeah, I think originality, man. I just remembered where I started with that. Originality. I think
Yeah,
people
I was just asking like, how do you stay original in this time and age?
I just do the things like genuinely. The things that interest me, the things that I like, I want to share with people because I'm like, do you guys also like this stuff? Because that's cool. I think this stuff's really cool. This style is really cool. It's cool if you like that too. You know what I mean? Or like if you've never seen this style or you've seen some of it, you're not too familiar. Like, look at it. It's cool, right? You know what I mean? Like, I just like sharing that with people and the interests that I have and like I don't know, it's just cool. Like all the artists that I really like one of my favorites of all time is Mac Miller, and his music like resonates with me so hard. And like he's absolutely my main inspiration when it comes to like instrumentals and stuff and the actual production because he's like he was a genius.
Mm-hmm. What do you think of his latest album? I thought it was dope.
Love it, dude. It's so nice. I want to get it on vinyl. I have swimming on vinyl. I want to get circles on
Mm-hmm.
vinyl. Amazing. It's beautiful.
What
And
was
like
your
dude, the
yeah?
instrumentals on circles are so different. They're very like very simple and very like just right. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but they're very simple. It's like one synth and the drums, and the bass.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And they're usually like old, like analog sounding synths and stuff. And it's just super sick.
Yeah, Mac was so experimental with like his beats, and I respect him so hard for his grind and like his hustle whenever he was just starting out. Like I remember when Donald Trump came out and that like blew up. I was like, this
Yeah,
guy
dude.
is like so cool, and I loved his music videos. They were so homemade and
Mhm.
just made you feel like you were hanging out with him. It was such
Yeah,
a
for
good
sure.
time.
And like he grew so much as an artist.
Mm,
And I think he was on his way to becoming one of the greats. And it's so unfortunate what happened. But like, man, Yeah, I could talk for a long time about Mac.
Yeah. What are some other inspirations that you have?
um, let's see. I'm heavily inspired by nostalgia. Nostalgia is like my driving force in life, and
Mhm.
everything that I do is an expression of what I like about the things that I love and cherish. You know, and it's
Mhm.
like a reflection of that, and like the I feel like that's what makes your personality in the way the things that you love. You know, and so yeah, I mean, so many things inspire me. So many things. I'm just trying to think like
Yeah.
movies
Nostalgia is
wise.
such a beautiful thing. Like
Oh my
my
god,
on
dude.
my YouTube banner.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I keep interrupting you.
No, no,
Go
no,
ahead.
no worries. Are you kidding me? Have you ever seen our podcast?
Yeah. So on my YouTube banner, my like tagline is filmmaking fueled by nostalgia.
Hell yeah.
And I feel like everyone just kind of, especially with like Stranger Things and so many movies that like feel like an 80s film or
Mhm.
whatever, people kind of brush that aside. But I'm like, no, lean into that. Like that
Yeah,
stuff is so
for sure.
beautiful.
Because then
Uh,
you like you bring back things that people cherish from long ago, and then also that new people are able to cherish, and it like keeps the connection there because like people who love Stranger Things who are like teenagers and stuff now, they get really into 80s shit, and that gives them something to bond with their parents. You know what I mean? Like you connect these different, and I didn't live in the 80s, but I love 80s shit. You know what I mean? And I feel that nostalgia. It's different because like you didn't have to live at that time to feel the nostalgia. Like one of my favorite movies of all time is called This Is England, and it takes place in like 1983 Northern England. Like that has nothing to do with me, but I feel the nostalgia because it's kind of like based on the filmmaker's life as a kid.
mhm.
And so like I feel that nostalgia, even though it has nothing to do with me, you know?
Dude, it's so cool. I'm gonna watch that. Do you know where I can find it?
Yeah, I got it on DVD.
Yeah, just email or mail it over here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, dude, I
I don't know where to find it.
um,
It might be on Netflix, but it's a great
gotcha.
movie. Very intense though.
Like a lot of my style with my filmmaking is heavily inspired by the 80s. Like I love that like retro wave, like vaporwave stuff. Like I wear that like a badge of honor. I'm like, this is nostalgic to me because it reminds me of riding in the car with my dad because we listen to 80s or films all the time
Hell
or
yeah.
listen to 80s music. And yeah, you ever just listen to a film in your car?
Yeah, yeah, all the time, man.
But yeah, dude. Like with filming, do you find it hard to come up with ideas like while you're writing or watching something? You're like, I want to do something like that. What does that look like?
I don't find it hard to come up with ideas. I find it hard to develop the ideas
Absolutely.
because man, you need an idea. I can give you an idea. Like if you
Mhm.
need an idea guy, like I wish I could just get that job, idea guy. Because oh my God, I got endless ideas, but developing them is where I struggle because of my ADD. And I'm no longer medicated.
So you're off the loose.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
off
yeah.
the hook.
I'm off the Quaaludes.
But to bring it back to Sugar Pine 7, I don't know if you care to talk about that more, but whenever was that you quite a bit? Whenever you'd be like, oh, we should do this, or you guys should do this, was that you quite a bit?
Um, no, it was very collaborative. I think it was
Mhm.
so at the in the early days it was heavily Steve and we were more support, but then as like I'd say after like season 1, it became a lot more like a collaborative thing and we were all kind of like throwing in ideas and having stuff like that, which is great because we were all on the same page from working together for a while.
Mhm.
Um, and it gave everyone a chance to like find a voice and have some say, you know.
Nice. What was your favorite idea that you came up with on the show?
Like bit.
Bit anything.
Hmm. Man, just some of the ideas like during the cinematic season that we did, like the one episode where I went to go visit John Redlinger,
Mhm.
who directed The Woods and also played Michael, the Asian guy. He I had the idea for some fucking reason. I think I was rewatching Breaking Bad, but to do the thing where I had the ricin in a cigarette and like completely out of the blue, like we're just talking and I'm kind of like uncomfortable. And he gets up to go to the bathroom and I like take out a pack of cigarette. And, like I have the ricin. Like that was so funny to me because it was so random and out of the blue, but I was already ready to like poison this guy because I was so fed up with them. And then, yeah, so shit like that. I love and just showing like homage to things that I love, you know, and being able to express it that way.
Nice. Do you like Better Call Saul?
Yeah, I love that show. I haven't seen the new season at all though, or
I
not the
haven't
new.
watched any of it, but I really want to see it. I need to see I've only seen a couple episodes of Breaking Bad.
Jeez, man,
Yeah, I'm falling way behind, man.
you got to get on that.
But yeah, dude, this is like filmmaking is in such a strange time right now because people are taking inspirations from other things, and then we have like the production company like A24. Would you want to make an A24 film, or do you want to make do like more independent stuff?
I would do anything to work with A24. But because it seems like they care about, obviously they care about money, but they care about the films and the filmmakers that they put on, you know what I mean? Like, I think that they're great and I look up to them and I respect them and I would love to work with them. Are they watching? You think they're seeing this right now?
Yeah, out of the 4 people, definitely A24.
Shit.
The entire company.
Hell yeah.
They're putting it on a projector while they're working right now.
Super tight.
Totally. What's your favorite A24 film?
A lot of them.
A lot of.
Oh no, Good Time.
Good Time. I actually watched that recently. That was awesome.
Phenomenal. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. So
That's
good.
so cool.
A lot of people don't like the Safdie brothers because they make very anxious movies.
That was very anxiety inducing.
Mm-hmm.
I was like tits the whole movie. But what are some other things that you're working on right now that we might not know about, like films or music or anything?
Oh, I'm always working on music. And just follow me if you're not already. I put all my shit out and I'll let you know. But yeah, mostly music, man.
Mostly music.
And playing fucking video games. I'm be streaming a lot more now, and I'll be live after this actually at like 6:30.
Heck yeah, playing PlayStation 2 ROMs.
Oh yeah, baby.
What game are you gonna play? Have you decided?
I have to download some more, but I got a lot of throwbacks, man. I got a Jimmy Neutron game, I got a Jaws game, I got a Bratz game, got a Hannah Montana game.
Hannah Montana. Mm-hmm. I didn't even know they made a video game.
Yeah, there's like 3.
3? Why?
Yeah.
Did you ever play Battlefront 2?
Oh yeah, I have that one too. I streamed that yesterday.
Dude, that's one of my all-time favorite games.
Oh, it's so good. So classic.
We're filming a sketch tomorrow with some of my roommates. We're going to do a Tony Hawk Pro Skater parody, and we're going to draw a lot of inspiration from that era of gaming.
I love it.
Yeah. Did you ever play American Wasteland?
Probably.
That was a really good one.
I think so, for sure. I don't know, because I feel like I would always go to GameStop and like buy used games and then like take them back. You know what I mean? They're like, because like they were like cheap shit.
Yeah. So what have you been doing during the quarantine?
Oh man, I've been smoking a lot of weed.
Hell yeah.
A lot of weed. Chilling, working on music. Taking care of my garden. I have a beautiful garden in the backyard. It's very fruitful. I've just been tending to it,
Mm-hmm. What have you been planting back there?
Well, I've got some red bell peppers. I've got some hot burrito peppers. I've got some artistic broccoli, also known as probably broccoli rabe. I've got some green onions going, some buttercrunch lettuce, some heirloom tomatoes, and I've got a bunch of herbs. And I'm gonna plant more too. I want to plant some corn. Actually, though, I want to plant some corn.
Dude, nice. So we're getting close to the end, and I think this is a burning question a lot of people have, just because of like things that Steve's been like alluding to online and stuff like that. But is Sugar Pine 7 coming back?
Oh, I don't know. You'll have to
don't know?
see. I don't know what's going on. I don't know any more than you guys know.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome. And you guys have been hanging out with, or at least online, Hoodie Allen.
Yeah, he's quarantined at Nick's house with Steve.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Has he been helping you guys like with any content recently?
No,
maybe not even Sugar Pine.
We're not really doing anything right now other than the podcast. And if anything comes, like anything happens in the future, then it happens. But we're not really, you'll see when and if something comes out. That's all I have to say.
Nice. All right, man. Well, it's been about an hour, but is there anything else you'd like to say, James, before we close?
Nah, man. I'm all good. I appreciate you asking all the questions.
Yeah, dude. Hopefully some of them weren't too like risque to ask or whatever.
Very risque, very promiscuous.
Totally. Well, James, thank you so much for being on, dude, and thank you everybody for tuning in. Dude, this was a blast.
Hell yeah, man.
Heck yeah. All right, bye.
Later. I unleashed my word horde, and if anybody read Beowulf in high school, then you know what that is.